Showing that it is 11:45, so I am going to go a little more quickly through this part so that we can end with an interactional piece. Please know, again, this is being recorded. You can find it anytime on the Small Business Development Center YouTube page, and also the presentation is available for you for review. Open discussion. All right, let's read about the most popular benefits. And what I'm doing here, if this works the way it's supposed to work, is we're going to go out to an article. All right, you should see on your screen an article, the 20 best employee benefits and work perks. Is that what's out there?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It might be because you're sharing the screen for the presentation and, oh, yep, there it is.
There. Okay, wonderful. So let's take a look at this article and kind of look through these. These are known to be the most popular among people, among society. This is a US study, and it was done in a way that it was to help employers understand you may not be able to offer all of these things, but here are the things that seem to be most important to people in no particular order. It's the top 20 things that people are looking for. And what I noticed, they're broken down into categories. So there's financial and insurance benefits. Some example of those. Another category is quality of work. I don't want to leave this one too quickly. Many small businesses cannot afford financial and insurance benefits. Those that can, those that are able to make that a priority are very competitive. You also open yourself to a wider range of people who might consider the job. But it is a reality that many small businesses are not able to afford some of the financial and insurance benefits. Student loan repayment assistance. That has been increasingly popular in the last decade in HR. Quality of work, like flexible working arrangements, being able to work remotely from home, professional development opportunities. And here we go, that professional development growth opportunity, tuition reimbursement, seminars, mentorships. And then let's look under daily wellness. These are things we might consider that don't cost a whole lot of money, but there are ways that we can promote daily wellness in our workplace. We have a client who encourages their managers to take walks with employees. So they're encouraging them to take a break, they're encouraging them to get out and exercise, and then when they're on those walks, they are strongly encouraged not to talk work, but to just talk, get to know people. And then we have the quality of life sort of benefits here, employee assistance program, leave, ability to go and volunteer and to do that on company time. This, along with tuition reimbursement, volunteer time off has become extremely popular in the last actually 5 years. Access to discount programs. And for the animal lovers, there are 3 favorite benefits involving animals. All right, so the purpose there is to let me get our presentation back. Okay, you should see the article up there now.
Nope, not yet. It's still.
Not yet, same deal. Okay. I need one more computer screen, haha, not. Okay, bear with me here. I'm not sure what the problem is. Okay, you can see me again. Let's try one more time to get out there and get that presentation back. Okay, do we see policies and procedures?
Nope, not yet.
All right, Nick, I might need your help here. I don't know why.
No problem. So click on share screen in the
Right.
bottom, and then either desktop 1 or desktop 2, whichever one has your presentation on it. Do you see those options? And then click on the share button in the bottom right corner when you've chosen that desktop.
Okay. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yep. So that is fine. Again, not the the share screen button in the bottom. Click on that.
Yes,
And
it's
you
not.
be able to choose a desktop. So do you see desktop 1 and desktop 2?
No, it always gives us that option.
Yeah.
And technical difficulties. Okay, you see it now?
No.
Oh, bear with me, folks. I apologize. I'm seeing some messages that I've not seen before, that I've disabled something. I think I have to hop out and hop back in. I apologize. What I'd like to leave you for just 10 seconds. And Nick, if you could take over. I'd love to have people talk about what employee benefits they currently offer in their small businesses. And I'll be right back with you.
Yeah. So following up on what Susan was asking, what benefits do you all offer in your small businesses? You can either unmute or type in the chat. Keeping in mind, as we saw, of course, there are the big benefits, right? So health insurance and retirement. But keeping in mind that there can be a variety of different things that you might be able to offer.
Well, using those ones from the website, I think more like daily wellness or quality of work type benefits, because like she said, could be pretty expensive to provide the ones that you would like to provide.
Yeah. So what do those look like in your area, Dustin?
Well, I'd say we always have a coffee machine in here, so anybody's welcome to have coffee at any time. Like a space just for like a break room. Yeah, it's pretty tough with a small business to provide like I would love to be able to provide paid time off, that sort of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, a break area, free coffee, not something to be overlooked. So Jordan's added in the chat 30-minute fitness breaks per day. And also we see in the chat a couple of my clients offer PTO, and that's it. Yeah. So excellent. And Susan's back, and you're definitely sharing your screen now, Susan. But I will warn you that we are also, all right, yeah. Perfect. Now, so if you can, click on the, yep, looks like you are going there, slideshow. Oh, slideshow. Yep. And then right there, perfect.
Okay. All right. So employer benefits. Thank you very much, Nick, for your help there. And sorry about the technical difficulties, folks. Employee benefits are important. They can help an employer stand out. What we want to stress, however, is that employee benefits, although important and nice to be able to offer, employee benefits are not the number one thing that people look for, nor is it the number one thing that people tend to stay with an employer for. So if you're a small business, such as my own, that I can't afford a lot of these benefits, what I do is the things that I can afford or the things that don't cost much money, I work very hard to be an employer of choice, like the coffee, as a gentleman made a good point about. So do not be discouraged as a small business owner if there are things that you can't afford, you wish you could. Part of that is the nature of a small business, but you certainly can create the work environment to hire, retain, attract, hire, and retain your top talent. Because again, people leave their managers more than they leave their employers. All right, let's wrap up by taking a look at some terminology here. I won't read it to you, but we wanted to make sure that we covered it. You knew what we were talking about. The IRS has Form 941, which is a federal law requirement that we as employers are to withhold. Now we're talking about our employees, not our contractors, but that we are to withhold certain taxes from our employees' pay, and that we as employers also have certain taxes that we pay. This Form 941 is done on a quarterly basis. We may have our bookkeepers do it. We may have an accountant do it. We might do it ourselves. We do encourage our clients to have a third party involved in preparing a 941 if at all possible, just to make sure that we're current and we have a second set of eyes looking to make sure we're reporting what we need to. That is due on a quarterly basis. Once a small business submits a Form 941, they need to follow with filling out 941s, even if there is no activity to report. So if I go a period of time where it's only me and my business and there's no one else, I still have to submit and report for my business until my business is dissolved. Here's a list of who must file the 941 and what is it we must file on the 941. If we pay wages that are subject to federal income tax or Social Security or Medicare, then we are on the hook to file a Form 941 on a regular basis. There are some things that we don't have to report on here, and this is something that your accountant, your bookkeeper will be able to help you stay current with, but we don't use it to put things like backup withholding, income tax withholding, and other non-payroll related payments like pensions, annuities, those sorts of things. It says gambling winnings as well. So again, I encourage people to use an additional source to help them through that. The other thing we wanted to touch on for you, in addition to the requirement of getting a 941 submitted accurately and timely on a quarterly basis, is what is workers' compensation and what is unemployment insurance? Are they required? And if so, how do we go about putting them in place? Workers' compensation is for workers who have been hurt on the job, or they have lost their job or become ill due to not any issue of their own, but they're not able to work. And there's a reason, job related, that they're not able to work. So workers' compensation is a form of insurance, if you will, that ensures that employees get benefits regardless of who was at fault. If I'm hurt on the job, I get hurt on the job, I get sick because of the job or at the job, I can still be paid, and I can be paid a range of benefits as well. The other part of the insurance is, the good part as well, is that the employer is has access to those funds so that they are paying the employee through this workers' compensation fund. So it helps people who may have an injury, can't come back to work for a while, but yet we still have work that needs to be performed. So we may have to pay someone else to do some work. Workers' compensation insurance helps the employee get their pay, and it helps the employer be able to pay expenses, salary, wages, those sorts of things. Workers' compensation is required. Workers' compensation is an insurance pool or fund. You can ask most insurance agents which organizations in your area offer it. You can also find gazillion when you do a search out on the web, do a Google search, and the way it is determined is based upon your wages. The pricing of it is determined based upon your the wages that you pay. It is required to have, and that is true to cover your employees as well as your contractors. COVID and workers' compensation, how to put that in there given where we are in the world. You likely know the answer to this, but there is a lot out there that you can read and stay current, and I encourage you to do so. OSHA, the states, and the feds have differing requirements on a regular basis. So as a small employer, you want to stay current with what it is you're supposed to do. Basically, as it relates to COVID, it has to be a scenario where there was an outbreak, or it can be pretty much shown that the employee contracted the virus at work doing job-related duties. If that is the case, then the person may qualify for workers' compensation as a result of COVID. Pre-COVID days, when we think workers' compensation, we think of things like falling or slipping or being involved in a car accident while doing business, pulling a muscle while carrying something, those sorts of things. But COVID-19 is in that conversation as well. Another insurance that is required, this is a program known as unemployment insurance, and you pay this through your taxes. And this will be the last topic we end up with today, and end with a very quick team discussion. Unemployment insurance is a program that's supported by state and local governments, and it's put in place to help protect workers who lose their job on no fault of their own. Maybe we lost a contract and we don't have work. Maybe we aren't as busy because of some factor and we can't justify the job, and so we have to reduce hours, or we have to terminate that position. The average period of payments that are provided to a worker, it is determined by state, but the overall national average is up to 26 weeks. A worker does have to show that they are actively seeking a job. as they accept the unemployment pay, but it can help them get from one job to the other and making their ends meet. How employers pay into this is we pay a tax, an unemployment insurance tax that is deemed by the state on which employees are covered and which are not, and we are given an unemployment insurance rate based upon the wages that we pay. So that Form 941 going to the IRS and the payroll taxes that we do, those talk to each other. And so again, I encourage folks to have someone else involved, at least another set of eyes to help make sure that those are done, and those are done timely and currently. I will leave you with the unemployment insurance advice. There are ways to minimize your cost of unemployment insurance, and I think these are very good for us to know as business owners. In the first year of our business, the first 3 years, we get the benefit of what's called a new employer tax rate, and that's a minimum rate. It's typically very doable, but that rate will never go down. It will only increase. So the longer we're in business, the larger our payroll becomes. The activity of need for unemployment insurance and claims will also be factors that determine our future rate, which will be higher than we started, guaranteed. So here are some tips to help minimize the cost of unemployment insurance. We want to avoid layoffs and downsizing if at all possible. Certainly we have to do that. But if we only hire people and create positions that we think a business can reasonably support for a period of time, we're less likely to get ourselves in the case where we may have to lay off or downsize. The more positions we lay off, the more downsizing we do, that can and does impact our unemployment insurance rate. The other thing is that if we have a high turnover rate of employees, the more that we document fully and clearly any corrective action for an employee, because that may end up in some termination, the better. Most unemployment claims are made because someone has lost their job at no fault of their own, and most lawsuits are awarded in terms of the HR world to employees who feel that they were wrongfully terminated and or discriminated against in the workplace. So we want to document fully and clearly all corrective action, keep a file in case we ever have to explain our ways through that. And then also don't intentionally staff with provisional workers as a way to minimize this tax. So if it makes sense to have contractors, if it makes sense to have seasonal employees, we do so, but we don't create that environment as a way to bypass or minimize taxes. Because doing so, one, we can get in trouble, but doing so also can impact the rate at which we are charged. So as we finish,
helpful places.
Thank you for watching our video. If you would like to speak with a business advisor at no cost to you, please feel free to reach out. We're the Small Business Development Center at Blue Mountain Community College. Please attend one of our workshops, either virtually or in person, or just give us a call. Thank you.